Hey there everyone, I am Thakard. This is Survival Fountain of Youth, and I got another guide video for you guys today, and it's going back to one of my original videos, one that was fairly well received, 10 helpful survival tips. Today, we're going to be looking at an additional 10 tips for you. These are primarily places you want to get to, maybe as fast as possible, and things that might be hidden away from view that you definitely want to pick up. There is one repeat, and that is because it is so incredibly important. So let's take a look at my 10 new tips for you. All right, so our first tip is the only repeat, and that is the importance of doing the tutorial, specifically the combat section. Now, the tutorial has been improved immensely to teach you how to play this game, but the most important part is when you're on the ship before all of the things just go bad, and you are fighting a little short-eared dog at the front of the ship. You have the time to practice your blocking, and I'm talking about that right mouse button, just block it, no poking with the sword, just blocking it. If you can learn how to effectively block, you will be able to deal with 90% of the things in this game that are going to really challenge you. The rest of it's probably going to be getting sick and stuff like that, maybe getting enough food. But the biggest issues for you in this game are going to be taking damage from the beasties. If you learn how to block effectively, you can take all of them on no matter what. So please, 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 please take some time in the tutorial and practice the block mechanic. Number 2 on the list is going to be the water distiller. This is a very important machine that will solidify your survival through late early and into the mid games when you start exploring other regions. Why is this so important? Well, this allows you to take salty seawater, put it in the distiller, use some fire to turn it into plain water, which you can drink, and salt, which you then can use to dry food. It is absolutely wonderful. I would make sure that you try to get some clay and some bamboo as early as you safely can do it. That way you can build your water distiller. Because once you have that, you will have water no matter what. As long as you have wood to burn and the ocean doesn't run dry. You'll be good to go. All right, number 3 is the signal fire. Now this is something special you can do with it, and it's probably the only trick on this video. So you get a signal fire set up, and it's like 5 yellow leaves and 2 small sticks. It's really easy, and it will always be lit. And one thing you can do to save yourself a lot of time is if you have a torch, you can take it and you can light it on the signal fire. You can then use that torch to light all your other components at greatly increased success rates and greatly decreased times. It will save so much time if you do this. Okay, so this next one is a new set of locations that I think you guys should check out super early. So in the 1.0 release, we now have a new tutorial island. And at the end of that tutorial, we get a raft to travel from the tutorial island to the Island of Hope itself. Once you arrive at the Island of Hope, you can go about your business. But did you know that the developers have hidden 8 chests on the islands surrounding the main Island of Hope and 3 on one of the beaches that contain food? This can be super helpful in the beginning. Plus, a lot of these islands contain resources that will desperately help you. Some of them have recipes, some of them have big branches or obsidian. There's a lot of resources to be had on these small islands. So maybe it's time to go and grab that raft and just take a trip around real quick. Trust me, it will help. Up next, I'm going to talk about the mural site. Now, the mural site is located on the south part of the island. It's not too far from the starter island and the grotto, and it is kind of a source of a lot of goodies. One, it has a skill point. That early skill point can really help you out. Number two, it has a snake potion. This is a potion that for 24 hours stops your usage of food, hydration, and energy. They will not drop any lower than when you first take the potion. The other thing it has is, well, above the mural site itself. If you go up a little path into the mountains, you will find a location that has bamboo, which is very helpful for setting up a water distiller or a date juice collector. And it also has a source of flint. 3 pieces sitting right there, and you can get some early flint really easily. My suggestion would be finish up on the tutorial, go over to the grotto, do your stuff over there, and then immediately check out this mural site, because it will give you a nice bump of resources and experience that you can use right at the beginning. The next location I want to discuss is the Spaniards Camp jungle area. There's a small area around the Spaniards Camp that is chock full of awesome resources. It is like the place to go, as long as you're not like me and afraid of snakes. But even I go there because, you know, those bastards can't keep me away from all the goodies, all right? Now, we're going to talk about the 3 different areas in this little region. 1 is a Spaniards Camp, 2 is the swamp, and 3 is the Big Branch Hill. The first of the little regions we're talking about is the Spaniards Camp. Now, it is located just adjacent to the swamp, and it has a lot of wonderful goodies that can help you early on. First off, the coffee seed bag. If you guys know anything about me, know this. I love my coffee, okay? So this coffee seed bag will allow you to grow coffee beans in your garden, on your farm plots. So that is wonderful. Next off, we have berry compote recipe. The berry compote is kind of like the coffee. It's a drink. Think of it as like a berry smoothie. It takes a cacao fruit and it takes feijoa berries and it mixes them all together. And then it just makes you this wonderfully delight, energy intense smoothie. Now you can grow both the cacao fruit and the feijoa fruit as well at your farm, but you can also find those on the starting island of Hope out in the wild, something you cannot do with the coffee. All right, up next we have big branches. You're going to need big branches early on for water collectors and different components for crafting, be them tool handles or actual crafting stations. Now here at the Spaniards Camp, we have 3 different big branches that you can grab. Also, we have 2 different fully formed liana ropes, which is quite nice. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the swamp. It is wonderfully resource loaded. Now to get there, just go out of the Spaniards Camp to the south. You're going to go down this little path, and in the middle of this path, you should see a liana vine. Now, if the liana vine is hissing at you, shoot it first and then pick it up. Once you get into the swamp itself, once again, you're going to have to watch out for snakes because there might be as many as 2 around this area. And also, just might be as many as 2 are boars. There is always going to be 1 boar right here, but there is another boar that spawns nearby that will wander into this area. This is great in case you need meat, hide, any of those boar goodies. This is a wonderful place to go. Also in this area, you have a banyan tree with vines, so you have a source of liana vine. You have a eucalyptus tree, which is a source of bark and eucalyptus leaves, which will allow you to create a healing potion very early on in the game. And you also have some mold that can heal you as well. On this rock, you're going to have an additional goodie, which is a book. Now this is the athletics book, The Letters to Lucilius. And when you read this book, you will get a passive ability that will reduce your fall damage and injury by 50%. Quite nice. Also in this area, you have some wide leaves from the Paradise Flower, which also gives you the flowers as well, but you don't use those right away, so we're not going to worry about it. And you also have things like cattails, which are very, very good at starting fires as a tinder, and also can be combined with bamboo to make a flask. Some additional things in the area include things like mushrooms, but you probably won't be using those right now. Next up, we're going to go up that hill in the back, and we're going to go to the Big Branch Hill. We are now looking at the Big Branch Hill, and it is just up the hill from the swamp and just over from the Spaniards' camp, over a set of rocks that you can actually climb over to get from one to the other. Now, why is this the Big Branch Hill? Well, because that's what's here. There are 4 different big branches that are just lying on the ground, just waiting to be taken. Be careful though, because there will also be a snake generally on this hill. Now, you also have a tree here, a patera tree, I believe, which will give you some twigs or some small sticks and some bark, as well as another paradise flower to grab some wide leaves and some paradise flowers. But yes, if you need big branches, which you will early on, coming to this area between the Spaniards' camp, the Big Branch Hill, and the swamp will net you 7 big branches, will net you 2 liana ropes, and probably, depending on your difficulty level, anywhere from like maybe 6 liana vines upward towards maybe 15 at the easiest levels, as well as a whole bunch of other goodies. So this is a wonderful place to come early on, if you can deal with the boar. Maybe you have to hide from it, or maybe you can kill it. The choice is yours. Next up, we have the pillar site. I call it this because, well, there's a pillar there. My naming conventions are really easy. I see an object, I go, I can remember this location because it has this object, and that's what I named the location, okay? Simple naming conventions. It helps. All right, so here we have a couple very useful items. Now, this is located kind of in the mountains to the north section. You can have a little path that you can take up from this little patch of citrus trees, which you should raid as well. And once you get through some brambles, you're going to be in this pillar area. Now, the pillar itself, when you use it, will give you a skill point. Awesome. You need those early on? Wonderful. Next to it is a raw clay pot. Now, this is a clay pot that you will have to fire, but it's already made. So if you grab this, it's one less thing that you have to make with your clay to get all of your, well, clay stuff up and running. The next thing we have is a buffalo potion. Now, personally, some might disagree. I think the buffalo potion is the best potion in the game. It's because it's the super Healy potion. It will take care of lots of diseases, multiple levels of those diseases, and it will heal you up, which is absolutely wonderful. I just had a playthrough where things went very, very sideways. Well, it ended in my death, and what I really needed was a buffalo potion, because what I got instead was level 3 dysentery, level 3 flu, and level 3 heat exhaustion. And the buffalo potion would have fixed every single one of those. A little further over, we have a single piece of obsidian. Hey, it's nice that it's there. We can get things like our obsidian spear up really quick, which also gives us another skill point. So this area kind of contains 2 skill points, actually. And lastly, behind our little rocks leaning against each other over the buffalo potion, we have 2 Dalbergia trees. Now these give you the flexible branches. The flexible branches, which you'll need 3 of to make this item, make the... It's a bow. It's the native's bow. It's like the better of the 2 bows in the game. It's pretty damn solid. You can find 2 flexible branches just lying on the ground, but you will have to pick one from the tree itself. Our next location is the white sign area. You'll hear it in the story as the white sign or the observation post. This is just the ruins, the ancient area where you have to go to do some of your story missions. Not going to spoil stuff, but it overlooks the entire island up on the hill. If you don't know where it is, look for the white sign. You'll find it, trust me. Once you get up there, some stuff up there is easy to find, some stuff is not. So let's discuss it. First off, outside of the story items that are in this little structure over here, next to it, you have a mural that you can use, and it will give you a skill point as well as some story. Skill points are wonderful. Get them whenever you can. Right next to it, you have a bird potion. Now, this is one of the better changes 1.0. The bird potion before 1.0 was absolute garbage, and in fact, I would come up here and I would not pick it up because I'd rather have its weight available to carry something else than that item. Now it's actually pretty good. It gives you basically, what, 48 hours worth of concentration vision, so you don't have to toggle stuff on and off. Okay, that's not too shabby. Next, we're going to go to the front side of this area. So we're going to walk over to the other side of the observation post here, and we're going to be able to see 2 different things. One, there is a lamp oil that is behind one of these. They kind of look like benches for people to sit on, I guess. And there's a lamp oil hiding behind one of those. Now, if you did get the torch from my very first episode, which just happens to be in that cave in the background there, this will allow you to repair that torch at least once. Well, only once. Or you can use the lamp oil to maybe make a lamp oil stand to light up your base. It's just a handy thing to have, and it's free. Next up, if you look at the image, we have a water of life. This is one of those wonderful little things that we'll find around the island that will heal us up and take care of some of our death penalty. Now, it is hiding on top of that circular structure where the observation point is. So you are going to have to climb up these rocks here and then jump over to get it. Now, after you've run over, gone up those rocks, and you've grabbed that water of life, don't leave just yet, because this is one of the best places on the entire islands to map from. You can hop on over to one of these blocks and even get a little bit higher, and you can take a nice map of the island. And well, your altitude will be 176, and you're going to get a maximum range of like 528, which is awesome. And it is going to reveal a huge portion of the island. So while you're up here doing this, make sure you take a moment to map. All right, my next hint is for an object that you can get, and well, it's pretty nice. For this one, we are going to be going into the Buffalo region. So this is outside of the bird region. It's outside of the Island of Hope. So this is when you start advancing into the next region of the game. Now, this will be located in what I call the Gold Digger Cave. Now, the Gold Digger Cave is located on the northern side of the Copper Island, but it's not like gotten from the inside of the island. You get to it from the outside of the island. Specifically, the entrance for this is an underwater passage on the north face of the island. If you go to the north face of the island, you're going to see some vines growing down the rock face. If you dive under these vines, you will find a underwater passage leading to the Gold Digger Cave. Why do I call it this? Well, because that's what was happening there. Inside, you will find a nice little base already set up for you, including a bed of leaves, awesome, a level 2 fire, and Davy the Dead Guy. But also next to Davy the Dead Guy is something that they left, a copper shovel. This copper shovel will be very helpful on the Copper Island because you're probably going to be trying to dig up things like clay and termites and other stuff. So trust me, you want to grab this as you arrive in this region. So once you get into the Buffalo region, finish up at the story location and you start exploring the new islands, go to the Copper Island first and grab this shovel. The last thing I have for you guys today might be my favorite object in the game, and you will know this if you saw my first video about this, and that is the Navy coats. Now, maybe you didn't pick up the Navy coat in the beginning. Maybe you're playing on very hard. There is a Navy coat that you can get in the game. Now, it is in the Puma region, so you can't get there right away, but if you go into the Puma region and you go into the coral reefs that are to the west of the Iron Island, and once you're in the coral reefs, if you go to the northernmost sunken treasure in the coral reefs and you swim all the way down and you swim past the Shocky boys, you're going to find a chest. And you're going to look in the chest. And inside that chest, you are going to find a Navy coat, which I have to say is the best thing you could ever find in a chest. And with that, you now have 10 new tips to help you survive better in Survival Fountain of Youth. If you liked this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and leaving a comment down below. If you have any questions about what we discussed in this video, or just general questions about the game, please leave those down below in the comments as well. Also, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. It really does help the channel by YouTube picking it up with their algorithms and sending it out to other folks. All right, everyone. I hope this helped you out, and I hope you have a wonderful time in game.